Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Speller. I'm just hoping that one of my lovely team can start to share our presentation. That's us. So we're just giving you a little wave there. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. We didn't want you to hear entirely just from us in the business enhancement team at Middlesex, because I'm pretty sure people have heard from us quite a lot before. So we wanted to bring along some of our previous practitioners from our continuous improvement programme, so they could talk you through their experience of the programme, how coaching has helped them, and how they've been essentially paying it forward by becoming coaches themselves. We will talk through how they've used different approaches such as Petra Kuchers and mural boards since we've had to move online during the pandemic, and how it's left them with not just a new skill set but also a growing network and, you know, the capacity to build relationships across the organisation, even though we've been working remotely. We tried to make this as visual as possible because that's pretty much how we work, and we want to leave as much time for questions and discussion at the end with our practitioners, so we won't talk too much. So without further ado, I will hand over to my lovely colleagues and we will start to talk you through where we started.
Hello, my name's John. So our guiding principles behind the design, if you like, of our training programme were essentially intended to help increase capability for problem solving across our colleagues at Middlesex. But importantly, it was also about building on our community of practice, intending to help build confidence among that group to solve problems, of course, that are local, but then come together and start to maybe identify and tackle some of the larger, more challenging, more cross-cutting issues that affected different parts of the university. We approached the design, oh, sorry, can you scroll back up, cheers, thank you. We approached the design of our training to include the kind of the standard lean tools that we use at Middlesex, focused on the importance of cultivating a growth mindset, particularly tolerance and working with ambiguity, which can be quite uncomfortable for people generally, responding to setbacks and resistance, and supporting people through the change that we are working on at that time. One of the points of pride I think we have for our team, definitely, thanks Charles, if you can move down to the bottom left, thank you, is our continuous improvement network across Middlesex. This is a bit of a spider diagram, but it just shows that across different executive portfolios, across multiple different teams, from HR and finance to colleagues in uni help and on help desks, that actually we've got quite a good network of people that are using continuous improvement. And hopefully, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the little green dots, but they represent our CI practitioners that have been trained in different areas. Yeah, it's a bit pixelated, unfortunately. The great thing is as well, we've got 12 coaches who are out there working with our continuous improvement practitioners, and that includes members of our team as well. The intention was originally to create a bit of a funnel that people could move through, so gaining interest and working with our continuous improvement practitioners via our training, building on that and identifying where people were interested, some facilitators who would be happy to maybe work on some of those larger cross-cutting problems, and then developing coaches on top of that, if you like. So the people that you see in front of you today that are from Middlesex are the example of our coaches. But our funnel kind of starts with events like lunch and learns, where we put on small pieces, kind of small skills-based events, work on projects that we consistently work on, and the stakeholders of those projects, and we try and get ourselves in front of new members of staff as well, to firstly alert them to the fact there's a business enhancement team and tell them a bit about what we do, but hopefully so that we can generate some interest in the work that we do and have them on board at some point via our community of practice. And finally, I think one of the important things that we've noticed is that for a small team, we've got quite an extensive reach, kind of working regularly across around 50 different teams. And so that provides a quite a nice network and a base for us to launch some of our events and advertise some of our training from.
Thanks, John. This is Mila, by the way. Hi. I'm going to talk to you about how we developed and delivered the training. So we did that in 2018, as you can see on the mural, and I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of the key principles behind what we put together. So like John mentioned, we wanted to offer perspectives on ways of working that would encourage trainees to cultivate a growth mindset, one that is resilient and feeds off of experimentation and that focuses on people, collaboration across all areas of the organization, so be it professional services or academia. And of course, we wanted to upskill colleagues by providing an experiential learning opportunity on the use and application of continuous improvement tools. So the ingredients that we used to create the program were, so as you would expect, your traditional continuous improvement tools. So what good looks like when it comes to creating a good problem statement, a good goal statement, the importance of data, identifying waste, root causes of issues, generating solutions and prioritizing them, and then of course measuring success. Secondly, the importance of fostering collaboration and creativity. So going back to that element of growth mindset, from going out, talking to people, which for some meant going out of their comfort zone, to forming peer learning groups, which for some actually made the journey less daunting. We also build concepts and themes around sponsorship and the importance of having someone who will support the trainee and that will promote their work and remove barriers and give a sense of direction and support them during setbacks. And then also project management. So we included tools such as action logs, action plan, gate reviews, which in a sense we also call report outs, which we'll talk about in a minute. But essentially all those tools that help trainees to feel that they're on track and create transparency. So we delivered our first training face-to-face over 3 full days. 2 of these 3 days were consecutive. And then there was a 6 weeks gap between the first 2 days and the 3rd day. We did not deliver the training on campus, but of all places, or a lovely pub, which was just around the corner from campus, which was definitely a delight for most of our trainees and certainly for trainers after the training. But in all seriousness, it enabled people to move away from their daily campus environment and allow them to focus on the training itself. So not having to nip in and out of work or being pulled in to their teams for, that urgent email or similar scenarios. So in terms of materials, we delivered the training through the use of PowerPoint slides. We also produced a paper workbook that trainees used throughout the teaching days and that mimicked the content of the PowerPoint slides. And it was a collation of all the tools used plus examples of their application. At the end of the 3 days of training, and in order to accredit our training itself onto the Lean Competency System framework, we asked trainees to complete a 30-minute multiple choice test, which was held on campus and with us as invigilators, and a report out, which was a presentation of each trainee's work in front of their peers, members of our steering group, as well as our senior leadership, which was really important, as again, going back to that element of sponsorship, it meant they were there to support and certainly celebrate all the work of our trainees. So far we've certified 40 trainees, which is really good and we're very proud of. And some of our trainees and coaches, of course, are here with us, and you'll hear about them in a second. And as we ourselves look for ways to improve and to learn both from lessons learned from the training, but also from what was happening in the world, we recognized that our backstage administration was quite time consuming. and would often lead to duplication and confusion as to who was doing what, in particular when it came to handling our trainee application process and the process of gaining approval from their line managers. So at the time, we were also working on our innovation lab, which focused on understanding how technology could help us improve the student and staff experience. And as we explore what was out there, we started playing with Power Automate, which is a robotic process automation tool that is part of the Microsoft package. And I know that all the presenters on this conference, we heard from Leeds yesterday, are very much using it as well. And so we started playing around with it, and because it allows the automation of simple workflows like sending out an email, waiting for an approval, and instead of chasing it up, we automated that process. So trainees would apply, that would generate an automated email to their line manager for approval. And all we had to do essentially was to wait for the information to be centralized in a database for us. And that in all saved 18 hours of admin tasks for us, which is for a team of 4 is actually quite significant. And certainly removed the delays and the duplication in the team. So that was a nice piece of enhancement that we did off the back of that. Another tool that we used certainly in the last 2 years is Mural. However, I'm handing over to Andre, who is going to tell you a bit more about that.
Thank you very much, Mila. Hi guys, my name's Andre. I'm the Alumni Data and Engagement Officer at Middlesex University, which basically means I look after graduates. So yeah, continuous improvement has had a massive impact on how I operate on a day-to-day basis, not only in my day job, but also in outside work where I do community work and also run my own startup company as well. So I've been using lots of the tools of continuous improvement since the start of the course. A lot of the methods and a lot of the tools like Mural, which we're presenting from today, and I kind of built up a little bit of an addiction for Mural. So today I'm going to be showing you about how I've used it within the course and a little bit beyond that as well. So if the presenter could follow the goat at the bottom. So using Mural for continuous improvement and beyond. So this was my final report out. It gave me a way to kind of collate all my information from the whole process all in one place, and include everything from our problem statement to our current state maps. And where I initially started in a physical space, I was able to digitalize that and turn that into something that's really easy to follow and read. And also includes additional bits of information and editing that you wouldn't necessarily get if you'd done it on a piece of paper, for example. Also included all the feedback that we got along the process as well, understanding the voice of the customer, process employee, etc. And it enabled me to put all the images and screenshots from things that I wanted to demonstrate throughout the process. So this was really useful for me, especially when it came to workflows. And just its ease of use in general is quite easy to pick up as a beginner. So since that time, I've produced over 100 Mural boards to date, which is a bit ridiculous given the time frame, but like I said, I've got a bit of an addiction. So I'm going to show you some of the ways that you can use it outside of this process or within this process as well, and hopefully it will inspire you to consider this as a tool. So I've used it within branding and communications. So often I have to make quite large updates to our website. So I'd always map those out in the first instance, and then being able to see everything in one place at a quick glance, any changes or updates that are needed, I can make those changes and updates quite quickly. I've also used it for changing over to a new brand, so brand proposals, using the screenshots from different applications to put all in one place. I've also used it for mapping out social media content and understanding that what content I'm putting out and what different types of content we have, and then how you can develop that. Also used it for storyboarding, so creating new videos. It's quite useful for, and meetings as well, especially when I'm working with stakeholders. Sometimes if I'm doing a focus group with lots of different people, it's quite easy to get them all in the same space and contributing using post-it notes in the space that you've created already. It kind of makes the experience a bit more exciting, especially when you're working with students and graduates as well. So those are some of the ways I've used it within that area. I use it a lot for project management and scheduling. It pretty much takes over my day-to-day scheduling now. Use lots of the methodologies and tools within continuous improvement within meetings as well. So it's kind of bringing those tools to your everyday meetings. This is a really great way to do it. I also use it for stakeholder relations. So bringing my whole business team together in one place and understanding everything they need to do on a timeline is another thing that I use it for as well. And this also helped me break down equipment for setup for spaces as well. So if you're in events organization, it's a great tool to map out an event space and just general scheduling as well. I've run lots of workshops and events through this tool, and you can get really creative with Mural. And what I love about it is I kind of see it as just a canvas and an opportunity for me to create something that looks better than it would if it was on a PowerPoint and be able to present with fluidity, with a type of fluidity that you wouldn't usually get with just using slides. So this is an example of a podcast live streaming workshop that I ran, and how you can really get creative with Mural, and how you can run workshops and make them a bit more interactive using global maps, especially when you're at a very international campus. And yeah, it's been really exciting to build these workshops and see them grow and my skills grow in those areas as I progress. I use it with continuous improvement. There's been lots of new introductions to processes and workflows. So being able to demonstrate those to new team members and how new systems will work. This has been a really, really good way to do that. It's always hard to track things when you're using a Word document. So to be able to see everything in a large open space, it's been really useful. And the last couple of things, managing people and team members as well. So I do a lot of mentoring outside of work and helping those students with their mapping out of all the projects they've got to do and timelines. It's been really useful for that. Use it for things like habit tracking as well, to continuously improve, and pretty much use it for the whole of my startup business. So I've got my whole business in one place. So all the interns that work with me can see everything they need to know about the business all in one place and track where we are on the timeline. And so at any time know what's going on. And I also use it for a local community group as well, mapping out developments of their community. So it's bringing professional tools from continuous improvement to organizations who will probably never come across this stuff as well. And Mural is a great way to present that information. And that's it from me.
Thank you, Andre. So we've spoken about how we've used Power Automate and Mural to support with our next cohort of training. There are a couple of other things that we used as well. One being a fantastic e-learning tool called Articulate, and in particular Storyline 360. So the idea of that was that we understood that all of our training would be presented online, and we wanted to think about, like, we all know what it's like to be in meetings all day on a camera, on a screen. So we thought, okay, that's really tough, going to be tough for our practitioners. So how can we actually strip back and think about making the training, the face-to-face virtual training, more practical, and have some e-learning resources, a course built so that our practitioners can learn about the theory as pre-day modules and then come to the training days with that knowledge. And then we can just facilitate practical sessions so that they can learn and play around with the tools on the days. So what we did was we used Storyline 360 and, like I said, create pre-modules. So we created 3 pre-modules, and this is just a snapshot of a couple of slides of those pre-modules. But it was interactive, there's audio, there's captions, we embedded videos into it. They knew what the pre-module was going to cover, and each pre-module was about 10 minutes long. So like I said, it would just give insight into the tools before the trainee, the practitioner, would actually attend our training days. 2 other tools that we used, one being Microsoft Teams and one being Petra Kucha. So I'll talk to you about Microsoft Teams first. So we decided to create an online space for our practitioners, for ourselves and for our coaches, so that we could all interact and engage with each other online. So it was a space for them to talk, chat, pose any questions to their peers or any questions to us. And it also provided us with a space to provide them with information as well and next steps. Sophia and Ravina will talk you through how Microsoft Teams helped them in a moment. The other thing that we added to our continuous improvement practitioners training is Petra Kuchas. So you might be thinking, what on earth is that? And that is the question we got from our practitioners as well. So Petra Kucha is 20 slides, and you talk through that each slide for 20 seconds each. So it's a quicker style of presentation. Each slide will just have an image on it, and you talk through that image. Sorry. So the idea of the Petra Kuchas, actually it came from one of our practitioners who suggested to us that midway through the practitioner program, instead of just having the report out at the end, which is a presentation to their cohort and to other peers and colleagues across the university, that they kind of wanted to practice. So we decided to embed that Petra Kucha into the middle of their training program. So it's community building. It provided an opportunity for peer-to-peer learning and feedback from their colleagues on their course. And it's often, the report outs were often the first time our practitioners would actually present something that they've done themselves of their work, or a project that they worked on. So a lot of our practitioners were feeling anxiety around that. So they had time to practice and talk about it. So that helped them reduce their anxiety of the report out towards the end. And instead of actually presenting on the project as such, like the steps they'd taken, it was the focus was on the why and the lessons learned of using each of the tools. And it also helped us to see their progress and provide timely support to them as well. So I'm just going to hand over to Ravina and Sophia just to introduce themselves, and then we will watch your video.
Thank you, Nicole. My name is Sophia, and together with my lovely colleague Ravina, hi, we joined the continuous improvement training delivered by our business enhancement team while we were working remotely. We had an amazing experience as part of the cohort, and we have been working with Ravina very closely ever since. And we also prepared a brief video to talk to you about that.
Mila, how you
I'm
doing?
about to share it. Sorry, guys, it's closed my window, and it wouldn't be if there wasn't any hiccup, it wouldn't be normal. So there we go. Hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Hi all, I'm Ravina and I am presenting with Sophia. We both enrolled onto the Continuous Improvement Project to improve our problem-solving skills and focus our attention to an area that needed support and change. Because of this program, we were able to form a relationship and we had the opportunity to collaborate. And since then, Sophia and I have frequently worked with each other. We share information, and Sophia has trained me many times in new systems that I really did not know, which has helped me provide a better service and support in the departments I work in.
So we were both asked to talk about how we form the community of peers through online platforms such as Petra Kucha, Teams and Neural. Online platforms can be a fantastic way to bring communities together. And in this instance, it was a group brought together by a common interest or passion to find ways to develop our work and improve what we do.
We created a community of peers by using the online tools provided to us in the best way possible. We communicated through Microsoft Teams, where we use the instant chat to stay in touch and get to know each other, or even drop a quick question where anyone was able to help answer.
We had presentations where we used Petra Kucha as a way of communicating and sharing our problem-solving journey to our peers. We also used Neural, a platform where we could have blank visual interactive space, share information, brainstorm, and problem solve collaboratively.
So for our continuous improvement training, we were part of a cohort and we used the digital tools we just mentioned to collaborate remotely. Looking back at it, working together in the virtual environment was really successful.
While learning about problem-solving strategies, we also learned about each other's work and about different areas in our organization. We were able to see the similarities and the common patterns that exist in other departments, and we exchanged good practices and useful techniques from our work that other teams could benefit from.
In the mural boards that we used during our training, we could see others working in parallel, which is both motivating and helpful in implementing our newfound tools. We could see how continuous improvement techniques were used in different real-life scenarios. Our training was complemented with a Teams area where we could refer anytime we needed guidance, had a question, or simply to support each other when we were approaching our report out deadline.
We're really happy we undertook the training, as we have been able to apply it to our daily work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ravina and Sophia. I just love that video, and I love the bit at the end where you're clearly really happy that it's over. So just to go back to kind of the main focus of our presentation today, and it's the coaching element, really. So when we designed the programme, and as Mila and John have kind of talked you through earlier, we realised how important the coaching was going to be. We've all been on those courses where you have a really great time, you go away for a few days and you're really pumped and excited about what you've learned, and then you go back to your desk and you're like, okay, I can't remember what to do and I don't know how to do it myself. So we realised that we were going to have to do something that was supportive and ongoing support throughout the programme. So that's when we decided that we as the business enhancement team would work with practitioners and coach them through the project. And then we were aiming to grow that pool of coaches, and these are the people who have joined us today and are going to talk you through their experience. And actually, I think it's probably one of the things that we're most proud of, that we've now got a group of people who want to be part of the coaching pool and want to support their colleagues going forward, but also, you know, have clearly had a really empowering experience. So I'm going to introduce you to our group of coaches. They have very kindly put some videos together to explain what their experience was like. So you're going to hear from them now. So we have Louisa, Charlie, Irina and Amanda. And Mila with her intent clicking to find the videos.
Hi, I'm Charlie and I'm a Uni Help Desk Manager here at Middlesex University. When I was first asked to become a coach for the LCS programme, I thought, is this something I want to do? Can I do it? Having made the decision that yes, it was something I was going to try, I have to say it's been absolutely brilliant. The reasons for me agreeing was because I was lucky enough to be part of the first LCS programme, and having undertaken the programme and got my accreditation, learnt new skills and been able to use these as part of my within my daily work. I wanted the opportunity to share those with colleagues from across the university. I'm also very grateful for having been given the opportunity, and part of that gratitude is paying it forward. And the main way of paying it forward is by coaching and encouraging colleagues to undertake the same. Also, I come from a team where continuous improvement is at the heart of everything we do. I want to continue to be involved in the way this develops across the university, to learn new skills and knowledge for myself, and to continue to be engaged and involved with both the programme and the skills and the tools that are part of it. And by being a coach, I'm able to continue to develop myself as well as the people that I am coaching.
I really enjoyed being a student on the course. So when I was invited to be a coach, I thought it's a great opportunity for me not only to learn something I'm passionate about and something that I'm trying to involve in every aspect of my projects that I work on and also in daily life, but at the same time helping another colleague and share the knowledge and experience I have and learn from them. And I think it's a great opportunity for networking and trying to find out what's happening across the university, what people are working on. So just benefits I could see in that.
So what made me say yes to becoming a coach? First of all, Middlesex University is such a large university, you don't get to see or work with many colleagues from other departments unless of course your work is closely related. So this would give me an opportunity to learn a lot more about the services provided to students, or maybe the work other colleagues in other departments do. In that way, by learning more about the university and its work, I'm going to improve my own work and my own service to the students. And of course, I will be helping my colleagues, my coachee, to improve the service that they provide to students, or maybe their processes. Another reason why I wanted to become a coach is because when I first started, I was matched with a fantastic coach, Charlie Edge. And she not only provided the right amount of support, timely amount of support, but actually we negotiated how we are going to work together. And this provided me with so much structure to my work, and made the whole experience much more fun, not only more effective. And obviously I was able to qualify, but it made it much more entertaining and fun.
In terms of training, there are a lot of resources available to us online. Bed team have worked really hard to develop online training using really advanced e-learning tools. So this is available to us. We also had regular meetings with them, so they would be sharing any updates with us, either on the meeting or via Teams. And it's really great. I'm really excited to know that because of our feedback, they'll be delivering a series of training and masterclasses focusing on coaching and also principles of Lean. So I really can't wait to engage with that.
As part of becoming a coach, I have received coaching skills training, which is built on the existing coaching that I use both as a line manager and a mentor. But these skills are specifically related to helping practitioners undertake this program and the specific knowledge that they need to pass. I've also learned new skills, such as using Mural and other software platforms, as during the pandemic most of the course was delivered online rather than in person, so my technical skills have definitely improved. And also I've been able to learn new things that weren't part of the program when I undertook it, but as it's developed they've involved things like Pechakucha and the lotus flower diagrams, things that weren't familiar to me at first, but I've now become a big fan of, and I'm now helping my practitioners use these as part of their program.
So coaching was such an important part of my experience as a trainee on the practitioner programme, thanks to Kelly, who was a brilliant coach. Knowing that someone was there to listen and soundboard any ideas that you have around process maps, the 5 whys, impact analysis is just really reassuring, especially when you're thrown into the continuous improvement deep end. I think having someone there making your project feel achievable kept me going. So to have the opportunity to be there for someone else, to be able to listen, advise and give them steer and guidance when they need, I think is going to be absolutely exciting.
Principles of continuous improvement can be very complex for some people. That's why I feel that having just scheduled lessons, it's not enough. So it's very beneficial for colleagues to have someone acting as a coach who can guide them, who comes from the same institution and did the program, so they have experience of doing it, they know all the drawbacks and all the positives, and they can share this knowledge and experience with them. And the learner can feel more confident being guided by another Middlesex colleague who is not in a bed team, but at the same time who is embedding the principles of Lean into their everyday practice, so they can share their examples, share their experience and share the knowledge. So it's all about learning from one another.
I think coaching is a key part of the practitioner programme, both for coachees and coaches, as it enables the coaches to remain engaged and involved and continue their development, as I've previously mentioned. But for the coachees, having a coach that's already been through the programme and looking at it through the eyes of someone who knows exactly what to expect and what they need to undertake, and to be able to provide the guidance and reassurance that they can do it. It's not as daunting as maybe they first thought, and to be able to say look, we just need to do this and you'll get through it, I think, especially in my with my coachees, has provided great satisfaction for them, knowing that it can be done, and for me, knowing that they can do it.
First of all, I want to say that the program was extremely useful for me, and I found the experience very, very positive. But on the other hand, we usually do get tripped up by the usual hurdles. Your day-to-day job gets very busy, and then you don't have the time to focus on the program. Having a fantastic coach like Charlie Edge was for me made it so much easier and much more straightforward. On the first meeting, we decided how we wanted to work together. She set deadlines for me. This is what I needed. This is what I asked for. And then she provided immediate support. But she was, although she was hands-on, she wasn't authoritarian in such a sense. So I found her really, really supportive. And this is the approach I would want to take. I would sit down with my coachee, and we are going to decide how we wanted to work together. And I would support them all the way through.
For me, coaching is a key part to the practitioners program because you can help directly influence change across the university. You have the chance to help out in an area where you might not have that much experience or you don't have any expert subject knowledge, but you can help coach a trainee through with the continuous improvement toolkit and use everything that you've learned to help directly influence them. And it's also very rewarding to watch someone develop personally and also professionally, putting theory into practice and knowing that you have helped them to carry on the continuous improvement methodology and theories and carry on making positive changes in all areas across the university.
The skills that I've developed from being a coach, quite apart from improving the coaching skills, which is the obvious one, is that I've got a greater insight and knowledge into the lean tools and how they're being used by different colleagues across the institution. So outside of my own remit, how things are being adapted and continuously improved to in order for colleagues to be able to get the best out of them. And by doing that, I've then understood how I can take this back to my own team and develop our own skills and knowledge within the continuous improvement framework.
In terms of skills that I have developed, definitely patience and understanding, because every coachee is different. So trying to help them stay on track and be organized, that's something that really evolved in me, and respect and understanding towards others and their approaches, which might be slightly different to the way I would have approached a problem or a project. And generally communication skills and listening, emotional intelligence, so being able to work with people from different teams, different backgrounds, different ages, that was really important. But I think the most important skill for me was the reflection. I was able to step back and look at my own practice, review their practice and see what I can learn from it. And I could see the change in approach that I take now. So this reflection really allowed me to look back at some of the things I was doing and improve them for the future. So it was really, really good stuff.
During the course of various coaching sessions, I've seen my coachees come to an understanding of the tools and the skills that they need to develop in order to solve a problem in the real world, as in back in their team. It's almost like they open their eyes to see that there's all these tools, all this knowledge that they can use in order to fix a real world problem. And also some of them have never had the opportunity to either do a presentation or carry out a problem solving exercise, and to see them develop the confidence to use these and do these is absolutely fantastic.
In terms of development of my coachees, I think the key learning for them was the mindset change. So the way they approach the task, the work, a project they work on, a problem is completely different. So they are more open to change, more open to experiment. They ask questions. They try to use and apply the tools they have been learning. They don't see a problem as a problem anymore. They see a problem as something that can be solved, something that can turn into an opportunity. They are starting to sort of break down things into smaller pieces to try to understand. So I think the mindset change was absolutely a great thing to watch. and the learning, you know, how they absorb all the learning and try to really use it in practice. I really enjoyed that part.
For me, the best part of being a coach is the buzz. It's the feeling you get when you meet someone new, you're helping them through a project, you're seeing them on a little journey, and at the end, they've done something that they get accredited for, they get a certificate, and they get a real buzz for themselves out of the knowledge and the skills that they've gained. But also, I've had the opportunity to meet colleagues from across the institution that I would never have come across in my day-to-day work. And the increasing in networking skills, in the knowledge that they've been able to share with me, has meant that I've really learned along the journey as well, and long may it continue.
Excellent. Thank you very much to our coaches there who gave some real great insight to what it's like to be a bit of a coach at Middlesex and to some of the benefits of doing it. So thank you very much. So here we are, as it says, in 2021, about to embark on another year, another few groups of practitioners. We are tailoring our approach yet again to try and be current and fit in with the current circumstances, but also to be flexible and to suit people's needs, try and anticipate some of those. We're taking a bit more of a blended approach where our traditional 4-day approach is being divided into some whole days, but half days as well, that might be online, that might be physically on campus or physically together, in order to be flexible but provide that blended approach. We are constantly thinking about practical games and activities in the classroom that can help instill some of the concepts related to lean and continuous improvement, but also be entertaining and fun, and allow us to also get an insight into how people communicate, how people work together, how people form some relationships there as well. Our e-workbook, which is available online, is now available with quizzes that are built into it, so that some of the online learning is more interactive and intended to stimulate some engagement. And we're also scheduling in action learning sets whereby colleagues can support each other in a structured way. Also with masterclasses for coaches, where we are updating our continuous improvement content. It's valuable to stay on top of things. So where we might introduce elements of design thinking and change management, some tools and techniques from those areas, that actually our coaches are kind of on top of that, and they're able to understand what people are talking about when they go to them with a particular query related to a tool or an approach. And our report outs have changed, obviously, from being very physical to very online, and so we are also thinking about how we adopt and approach our report outs, whether it be physically, whether it be virtually, and whether people have a preference for pre-recordings or actually delivering it live as well. So trying to adapt, trying to be flexible and trying to accommodate, but also work around the current circumstances as they evolve, essentially. So thank you very much for your time and your attention. We really appreciate it. I think all of us are happy to take questions. I know there are a couple have been mentioned in the chat.